Free copper. It seems to be a popular subject on YouTube, going by a couple of my videos. They're probably the most viewed videos that I have and the most controversial videos I have. I seem to get a lot of comments, and especially negative comments about getting free copper, simply because, well, firstly, I guess the way I pronounce copper, but mostly because where I get my copper from is from electronics, and yeah, in my opinion it's free, but a lot of people will say, well, it's not free if you got to go and pick it up and you got to scrap out electronics to get it, how free is it when you've got to spend time and spend fuel in driving around picking it up? Well, you can't get any more free than picking a piece of electronics up off the street that's going to be thrown into rubbish and just going into landfill. That's about as free as you can get. I mean, the option is to go and buy copper wire from a hardware store and go and see just how much it costs. But as far as just scrap copper for any other projects, or if you just want to get the money value, or you want to melt copper down, and that's another thing I've melted. I like to melt my copper down into copper ingots, and I seem to get people seem to be confused that you need to melt your copper into an ingot for it to be of any value. Well, I've mentioned it in every video, but people just don't seem to listen. So, you don't have to melt copper into a bar. That's just my hobby. It's just something I like to do. Other people might melt it into a bar and then start machining the copper into pieces that they want for other projects. But so basically, when I say free copper, it's just to get the copper like that. If you want to just sell your copper as scrap, then just like this, you take it to the scrapyard and you'll get full value for your copper. That's as far as you need to go. What I do with the copper after that, that's got nothing to do with the videos that I've made about getting free copper off the streets or wherever. So I don't know. I just seem to get a lot of negative comments and even a lot of abuse about videos. The couple of videos that I've made about where I get free copper from, but that's fine. That's just water off a duck's back. You don't have, I'm not saying you have to go out and get it. If you want to get copper, you can go and buy it. But if you're a resourceful kind of person and if you really want copper, well, there are ways to get it for free. I mean, nothing is really for free in this world. If someone said, come to our store and we'll give you a free hot dog for every person that walks into our store, well, I can argue, well, that's not free, because I had to drive to that store and get that hot dog and then drive back home. So the fuel cost me X amount of dollars. So it's a ridiculous argument to say that picking up electronics to get the copper out for free is not free. It's, and they'll say, what about, the time you put into it and all that? Well, it's not the point. This isn't a business. This is, what you do as a hobby, if that's what you're into. If you're not into copper as a hobby, or have any real use for it, then, and you're not even interested, you don't believe that selling it is worthwhile. I mean, what's it worth? Copper is worth about $3 a pound or $6 a kilo. So it's not gold, but it is copper. And so a lot of I guess a lot of kids and that don't understand, and the how things in life work. But anyway, so I just wanted to revisit those videos and just go over on how I'm getting free copper. And there's basically three kinds of electronics that I focus on to get my copper. And first one is the microwave ovens. Okay, so we all know old microwave ovens that are broken, people throw them out in the trash all the time. Every trash day there'll be microwaves out in the street, and you know, some people say, oh, I never see a microwave. Well, you just haven't been around, because I see hundreds of them. And so, as you know, we get copper transformers from microwaves, and we can get some nice good heavy copper. We get usually at least a kilo of copper, or about 2.5 pounds of copper from a microwave. So, you know, check out on eBay and see how much it costs you to buy 2 pounds of scrap copper. It's not, you can't get it for free. No one's going to give it to you. And yeah, as I said, if you just want to look at the value of it and you want to take it to the scrapyard, that's how you take it to the scrapyard, and it's good enough. You can sell that for the value of copper. But if you have other, you know, reasons for getting copper, then, you know, this is an excellent source, microwave ovens, to get that copper. The second type of electronics that I get my copper from are computers and servers. So mostly in the heat sinks. So in a server tower, you'll get, a lot of times you can get these nice copper heat sinks. So it's just pure copper, solid copper fins, and they're very heavy. They weigh about 1 pound each, almost. Probably about half a pound. But yeah, so as you know, servers like this one most likely will have 2 heat sinks, and a lot of cases, if they're good servers, they'll be copper ones. So that's another free source of copper. Also in PCs, we get the heat sinks with the fans, you know, on top of the CPUs again. And they also have what I call copper stackers. Okay, so this copper here, as far as it's probably one of the best types of copper that I find, because they're in little rods. For some people that like to machine copper, this is ready to go. It's beautiful. And as far as melting copper, this is clean and pure. It's about the best copper. It's much better than copper wire when you're melting, because there's really no impurities in it. So it's a really good copper. So yeah, that's from PCs and servers. So that's my second avenue. And the big one, which probably the most controversial, are televisions. And a lot of people seem to be saying, oh, I don't see any of these old TVs out in the street anymore. And well, that's not true, because I see hundreds of them. And sure, they're not as common as they used to be, but you know, as you'll see in this video, I'm picking them up left, right and center in hard rubbish. And you know, every time just about I drive out in the street, there's always one hanging around somewhere. And so there's 2 ways to get the copper from these. It's either you take the copper out straight out on the street and just leave the television there for the garbage truck to pick it up and send it away to landfill. I mean, it's only going to landfill. Or bring the TVs back with you and kill 2 birds with 1 stone by recycling the TVs at the end. And then, you know, obviously I'm going to get comments, well, it costs money to take them away to a recycling centre. Well, if that's an issue for you, I mean, I usually build them up till I get about 20, and I'll take 20 at a time to the recycler. Yeah, so if it's an issue, then don't do it. And you know, but at the same time, don't abuse me for what I do and for what other people like to do. So this is probably still my main source of copper, coming from TVs. And we get the degaussing cable, which is really heavy gauge copper wire inside. And we also got the copper yokes, where we get about 4 nice pieces of copper like that. And again, this is ready to go. You can just sell this copper to a scrapyard and they'll pay you full price for whatever grade they grade it. This usually goes as number 2 copper. And so, yeah, whatever it is, that's all you need to do. But for me, I like to melt these down and turn them into something else for my own hobby. So, yeah, this is what I've collected over well, this year. About a month ago, hard rubbish finished in the area. So, yeah, these were from all the TVs that I scrapped out on the street or brought them back. And here we go again, just all copper yokes. Okay, so there's this this didn't happen by magic. This is just televisions that are out in the street, and I've picked them up. So for those people that are saying, oh, there's none of these TVs left out of the street, there's millions of them. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify a few things, because as I said, my copper videos that I've put up from the microwave or from a television seem to be quite popular, but also seem to be the most controversial, and I get the most abuse from. And believe me, some people are just unbelievable. I mean, but anyway, it's all fun at the end of the day. And so recently I just finished off the hard rubbish in my area. So I've got a few little clips here I'll show you on how I'm getting copper. Yeah, you just judge for yourself whether it's worth it for you. But if you don't believe that it's worth picking up televisions or picking up computers or picking up microwave ovens for free copper, then move on and go about life. And I get comments, oh, you make more money working at McDonald's or something like that. Well, maybe, but this is not about working. It's or making money. This is just something I do when I need copper. There's a lot of people that are machinists and engineers that want to make copper bars to machine. Well, what's the option? You see some videos on YouTube of people melting copper, and you ask, well, where did you get the copper? I bought this, at the hardware store, or I bought copper pipe to melt down to see, what it's like to make a bar. Well, you're paying probably 5 or 6 times the scrap value in that case. You just go and try buying a reel of nice copper wire like that. You're going to pay a fortune for it. So, it's really hard to explain, and really, it's probably not worth trying to explain to people that are, almost ignorant on the whole idea of why we get copper for our own projects, But, people that understand that, yeah, if you want copper, you're going to have to either pay for it through the nose, or you go and get it yourself for free. And okay, like I said, I reckon there's still a couple of years of these TVs out there. A lot of people just put them in their garage and, only decide once in a blue moon to get rid of them. And so they're certainly out there. And you'll see in this video that they're out there everywhere. Computers, well, not all computers will have the copper stackers in the heat sinks. And not all servers will have solid copper heat sinks. But they're in there, and I get quite a lot. Microwaves, some people say, oh, I haven't seen copper in a microwave for ages. They all seem to be aluminium heat sinks. Aluminium transformers. Well, that's not the case for me. And I was just looking at the department store at the cheapest microwave I could find, which is about $40, and it was heavy as, and that's going to have copper. The only thing with some of the modern microwaves is not all of them are the old style. The newest style is the inverter microwaves, like that one there, see, inverter. So they don't have transformers like that, but they still have copper winding, but just not as much. But they're not really, they're about 20% of microwaves out there. Most of them do have the transformers, and I find most of my transformers are the copper ones. I don't know, not sure about the people that, claim that everyone that they've found is aluminium. They've probably only scrapped out 2 or 3 microwaves in their life. But if you get a lot of them, you'll find that there's heaps of copper. And you see my other video on free copper from microwave. Yeah, there's a good amount of copper, and well worth it if that's what you want, just a copper. And I'm not going to talk about the transformers and what uses they have other than that. Well, yeah, once you get 5 or 10 transformers to keep, to use for other electrical projects, whatever you do with them, generate power or whatever you want to do, eventually you're going to get a stockpile where you can actually start going full of copper and just keep the best samples, and yeah, the rest for coppers. Oh, there's another CRT. So this one isn't too heavy. Free copper. On the streets, on garbage day, people are throwing out the old CRT televisions. We got quite a lot of copper in there. One option is to remove the copper straight out of the TV and leave it there for the recycling people to take it away, or is to take it away yourself, remove all the valuables, and then send it off to the transfer station, a recycling centre, so they can recycle it properly. This is most likely going to go into landfill, right? So it's a waste of precious resources as well as toxic for the environment. So by taking this off the street, removing all the good stuff, and then sending it to the recycling centre, you're doing not only yourself a favour by getting yourself some free copper, but you're doing the environment a favour. And that way these get recycled properly, and the future is much better. So I'll take this now. There we go. Nice Panasonic. Got some smaller TVs. And that's all you need to do when you're picking up, going around on the streets, hard rubbish, garbage day. There's hundreds of TVs still out there. So if you're looking for free copper, it's still there. As well as microwave ovens. You've got some copper in there as well. Another TV. Yeah, we got room. It hasn't been scrapped. No. Okay, it's a Philips, so it's a good one. Still got the cord. Oh yeah, it's not too bad. Old school monitor. These are good too for copper. Keep moving. So not bad. The TVs have certainly filled up the van a bit. Yeah. So 2 PCs or 1.5 if you like, but at least we've got some copper out of these TVs, and yeah, they're going to be a bit of work to send them off to the recycling centre once I'm finished with them, but that's what it's all about. At least these ones that I'm taking are going to be left out of landfill, and they're going to be recycled properly. Plus we get the copper and all that out of it. See? Oh, well. Another TV. This one's an old one, an old Toshiba, black stripe. This one, old Toshibas are good. There'll be copper in that. What do you reckon? TV, copper. Okay. Well, since it hasn't been scrapped, we take it. I've got the trusty drill. Bugger it. I want the copper yoke, so let's just scrap it out on the spot. There you go. Didn't take that long, did it? First thing we do on the street, we always cut that first off the flyback transformer. Remove that top. One yoke. Circuit board. There you go. Less than a minute. Yoke, circuit board, degaussing cable. Copper. We've got bits of copper on there. And we've got plenty of copper in that degaussing cable. Huge. Copper. And that's it. Put the cover back on. Alright. Oh, that's a good one. It's a nice heavy one. So that means copper transformer. Yay! Okay, getting there slowly. Actually, another microwave. Nice shiny silver one. Beautiful. There we go. LG, life's good. Good copper in that. Plenty of copper out here, guys. No shortage. And at the same time, you get your free copper and you get your free exercise. And you have a little bit of fun. Is that another microwave? It is. Just a little one, but still a microwave. Okay, I'm going to try and do this as I can. Okie dokie. Wow. Sony, look at the size of them degaussing cables. Again, always cut the cable leading to the I don't know if you're getting this. It's like I'm not on a good angle. So there's a huge yoke. We want this degaussing. There's probably $10 worth of copper just in the degaussing cable. See if I can get this board. There you go. A whole lot. Circuit board, 3-piece circuit board, 2-piece Sony degaussing cable. You know that these are going to be great, and a huge copper yoke. Now we just clean up.
want my copper. It's got that band. There we go. Okay. Copper. Copper. Okay, might as well screw on. And I might as well do the small one too, since I'm here. Okay. Copper yoke. Okay, there's a little TV. What do you reckon? Well, I can't be bothered scrapping it on the spot. It's just a dud brand. But we'll take a little bit of copper. Oh, another TV, more copper. Too easy, huh? Cut the cord. Safety. Copper. Look at that. Ready to go. We've got our degaussing cable, copper yoke, and a circuit board. We can get some copper off, aluminium, IC chips. It's all there. Two minutes. And that's a big monitor. Okay, we've got a couple of nice TVs here, good copper. This one's a Sony, be a good one, this one. It's giant. It's going to be grouse degaussing cable here. So this one's already had some work done on it. It's an old one, so I'm not sure how much we're going to be able to get out of this. There's our copper yoke. Lovely. There we go. So again, same procedure. Cut, remove, one more screw. There we go, free copper. There's another old TV here. Okay. Oh. Wow, this one's old. Here we go. Wow. Only a small yoke. There you go. More free copper. Wow. A lot of cable here. There we go, one more. Well, that was 4 TVs in one pile, and here's another one right next to it. Free copper everywhere. Oh, that's a nice one. Look at that. Look at that. A lot of copper there. Take that too. So a couple of minutes. Doesn't look like too bad of a spot. What do you reckon? Scrap it out? Get some free copper? Wow, it's fucking giant. Okay. Everything intact. More free copper. There we go. 1 minute. Oh, here we go. Another television. How many is that? I've only been driving around for half an hour and it's probably number 7 or 8. I reckon we can get the copper out of this one too. Keep forgetting to cut the cord. Safety first. But as far as safety is concerned on these CRTs, as long as they've been sitting around for a while, no problem. I mean, this TV is probably my 3,500th CRT that I've scrapped. So, never had a problem. There we go. Copper, copper, copper. Okay. There we go. Ready for the rubbish. Was a little Sony. Probably a good little one to keep as a collectible if you have room, you know, but I certainly don't have room to keep old TVs. I've got a lot better stuff to keep. Sony circuit board, beautiful copper yoke, and a Sony degaussing cable. We're in business. This pile just goes on forever. Actually, there's a TV there. I should scrap it out, eh? Okay, more free copper. Okay. Alright. Cord. Yeah, and the board and the degaussing. I just put the cover back on. There we go. So there you go. Free copper, it's everywhere and it's still out there. There's still plenty of these TVs.
As you saw, a lot of them I scrapped out on the spot, and you know, because I can't take them all with me to the recycling centre, but you know, that's just how it goes. It's I take as many as I can back home. You saw a lot of the small ones that I brought back, and a lot of microwaves. And once I'm finished taking out all the copper out of them, you know, I send these to the right place and get them recycled. And then it's you know, it's great, you know, because these, make no mistake, when they're put out in the hard rubbish or out in the trash on a weekly basis, and the garbage collectors come and pick them up, they don't take them anywhere. Remember, if you actually watch them, how they throw them into the back of the truck, and then the compactor pushes it all into the back, they actually explode, and they crush half of them up, and they're just going into landfill. And so that's unfortunate, but there's billions of them that have been put in landfill. Unfortunately, governments aren't, you know, really taking the initiative to recycle them properly. But you know, the ones that I take out and send them off to the recycling centre, they will get recycled. So at least the ones that I'm doing, all that lead in there and any other toxic material is going to be recycled properly. So I'm getting my free copper, but I'm also doing a little bit for the environment. So, you know, if you want to talk about value, well, not so much for our generation, but in the future generations, every television that we can keep out of landfill is just, it's going to, you know, be much nicer for the future for the next generations. So, but, you know, unfortunately, a lot of them do go into landfill, and there's not much we can do about them if the governments aren't going to do anything about it first. So, but there you go, guys. Plenty of free copper out there. No question about that. It is really nice, you know, good copper here, and you know, depends on what you do with it. If you just take it all to the scrapyard and sell it, that's fine. You'll get pretty good money for copper. Other people like to speculate on copper like an investment, you know, and that's why I like to make bullion bars. I'll make more videos about that in the future. But you know, copper doesn't necessarily have to be $6 a kilo forever. You know, it's more and more expensive to mine copper out of the ground, and you know, they only get a few kilos of copper for every ton of dirt that they dig out of the ground. So even just selling your copper like this to the scrapyard, you know, it's putting it back into the system. So it's you know, it's creating less need to actually dig holes in the ground to get the stuff, because you know, all this will just, copper is very easily recyclable, and yeah. So anyway, guys, hope that was a little bit of fun, and just an update on my opinion on scrap copper, and getting it for free and where to get it, and yeah, if you don't mind a little bit of work, well, this is an excellent source for copper. And microwaves too. As I said, PCs, but you saw that I picked up quite a lot of microwaves. So even after we take out the copper transformer and other bits of copper and so on, you know, then we take the microwave to the scrapyard, and we can still sell the microwave as scrap steel. So we're also getting a little bit of money back for that, for our time. But otherwise, get out there and get yourself some free copper before I get it all. And but you know, it's certainly out there, guys. Have fun, and I'll catch you next time soon.